really know how to approach this video. A lot of times when I kind of sit down on Sundays and plan out my videos for the week, I really like to stick to the same theme as the week goes on. So typically we record 3 to 4 videos a week, and I like to keep it kind of all tied together in the same theme. And we're going to start out this week talking about the great Pokemon crash of 2022 that we seem to be going through right now, because there's talks all over the content creation world about how modern is uninvestable and how the Pokemon market is just completely crashing. Singles are declining like crazy, and I really want to kind of touch on this because it's not. It's not necessarily that it's crashing. Some people might call it a correction. Some people might just say, this is how Pokemon has always been. I mean, if we go back and we look at cards that were printed in 1999 or 2000, let's say we look at some of the vintage market like Team Rocket, for example, there's holographic rares that are selling for $2, $3, $4 in near mint condition. It's not like these cards are expected to be super, super valuable forever. You open up a pack, you pull an alternate art Machamp, it starts out at $30, it goes up to $100, and it just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing. Common sense is going to tell you that the more Pokemon product that gets opened, the further these prices are going to drop. And we spend a lot of time talking about reprints, and I think reprints are very good. It gives more access to these cards for people, and as time goes on, as age goes on, these cards might retain value, they might gain a little bit of value, and they might decrease in value. And that's why it's so important when we pay attention to the Pokemon collecting space that you collect what you enjoy. You don't sink a bunch of money into something that you think is going to be valuable down the road. Collect what you enjoy, love and appreciate what you're doing, and if you do end up making some money off of it, awesome. If you don't, at least you got to enjoy it. At least you got to enjoy the artwork. At least you can look at it and you can love it, and that's what it's really all about, right? But when we sit here and we listen to all these creators talking about how things are crashing like crazy and reprints are destroying the market, let's talk for a second about print runs. The Wizards of the Coast sets like Gym Challenge, Gym Heroes, Jungle, Team Rocket, Fossil, and Base Set, those were all printed to oblivion. They were printed like crazy, and the great thing about Pokemon is it does have a floor, but it doesn't necessarily have a ceiling. Back in 1999, 2000, when Pokemon slowly started declining, let's say right around Gen 2, when people were kind of losing interest, you could find booster boxes of Base Set probably for around $60 to $70. And Base Set is never going to get that low, so that would be the floor, and Base Set is just going to continue to climb over time. There's going to be peaks, there's going to be valleys. Like one time a couple of years ago, Base Set booster boxes were selling for 28 grand. Well, now they're selling for like 12, 13, 14 grand. So they're about half of what they were before. But that really goes to show you the amount of print runs that those old Wizards of the Coast sets have compared to today, where, yeah, Pokemon is printing a lot more, but they're also producing a lot more product. They're also producing a lot of ancillary products. We talk about collection boxes, we talk about tins, we talk about all these products that are coming out seemingly every other week. Pokemon is coming out with a lot of new releases, and that's what we're going to stick on right now. We're going to look at some of the most recent releases and some of the chase cards, the most expensive cards in the set, and watch them decline. Now, there's a lot of reasons behind decline. Number one is it's summertime. People are out, people are about, people are doing fun things, people are off of school, people are doing a lot of things that does not involve just sitting in their house looking at Pokemon cards and collecting Pokemon cards. Once fall hits, we get into the winter season, we get into the holiday season, then singles start climbing up, sealed product starts climbing up, because people are paying more attention to things since they can't go outside and enjoy the weather as much as right now. Also, the fact that we're right in the middle of summer means competitive play isn't really happening right now. We had the North American International Championship that happened kind of in the middle of June, end of June, and now July is pretty much, you got nothing going on. We still don't have locals that have picked up. We have nothing going on until Worlds, which isn't until closer to the end of August. We still don't have a regional schedule for the next season also. We have no idea what is happening after Worlds. So a lot of people who are kind of playing might be playing just kind of for fun or casual play. There's nothing as far as sanctioned, officially licensed events going on right now, so people are kind of playing online, not really paying too much attention to the competitive world unless they're playing for Worlds or going and playing in the London Open or whatever the case may be. So competitive play is definitely playing an impact. And then when you have the amount of Pokemon product that is being printed, and we talked about 9.2 billion cards, we talked about all this excess cards that was getting printed and dumped all over the place in the form of all these additional booster boxes and booster packs that are getting thrown out there both in English and in Japanese all over the place. You're talking about Brilliant Stars, you're talking about Astral Radiance, you're talking about Evolving Skies, you're talking about Fusion Strike, you're talking about Chilling Reign, you're talking about all these modern sets getting printed to oblivion. More packs are being opened like crazy. of course the singles are going to go down. As more product gets opened, more of these singles become available, the prices go down more and more and more. And that's okay. That gives more people the outlet to enjoy the art, enjoy the card, maybe have better pricing on them. And that's how we pay attention to the market, so that way we can see when things are starting to swing in one way or the other, so that way it helps us make the best decision when it comes to our spending habits, when it comes to our collection habits. So we are going to jump in to some of the chase cards from these most recent sets that are being opened like crazy because they're in collection boxes everywhere, left and right. And you can buy Lucario boxes, you can buy Cleaver boxes, you can buy all these boxes for close to wholesale pricing because they've just been so mass produced that it's really driving the price point down. That's what we're going to spend our time on today. If you do like the content, please hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a like, leave a comment. It goes a long way for the algorithm. I'd really, really appreciate it. With that being said, let's jump into this market. And we're going to start out with the most recent set, which is Astral Radiance. We're not going to count Pokemon Go because obviously that's a specialty set. Now, we've gotten a lot of leaks for Lost Origin. A lot of people are paying attention to Lost Origin, but Astral Radiance still very much in play. Booster boxes have dropped down to $90, $95 around there, and there's still a lot of packs that are being circulated throughout collection boxes and things like that. So this Machamp is actually very surprising of how well it's doing. We talked about this card when it was first released being about a $50, $60 card at pre-order prices, and it shot up like crazy. And we're just looking over the last month of data so we can really determine, hey, look, it's summertime, more collection boxes are being released, more packs are being opened, these cards are going to sync. Machamp, obviously a little bit different. It started out at 117.09 was its high point about a month ago, and then it dipped down to 108.79. So not a huge drop. You're looking at about 7-8% of a drop, which is, I mean, that is kind of substantial, but about 7-8% of a drop. And look at how well it's been doing over the past few weeks now. It's actually climbed up all the way back up to close to its 1 month high, which is 116.84, which is where it's currently sitting. So Machamp is holding extremely strong, which is very surprising considering how much Astral Radiance product is being opened. And that just goes to show you how great this card is, how much love there is for this artwork. If we look at the Dialga V right here, the alternate art from Astral Radiance, this one going downward, and a lot of these are going to be trending downward, like I said, because of the amount of product that is being opened, which should be expected. $63 is its 1 month high, which it hit about a month ago exactly. It dropped all the way down to $53.71 before climbing up ever so slightly. It's sitting at $55.08 right now. And really what you want to pay attention to is the cards that aren't dropping, the cards that are moving up ever so slightly, because now is kind of the time of the year where you expect a lot of these cards to drop like crazy. No competitive play, middle of summer, people are out doing stuff, and the fact that these are overprinted to oblivion is really going to impact things. So finding those outliers, those cards that are really moving ever so slightly in the upward trajectory or kind of staying still, those are the ones that should be surprising everybody right now. If we look at the Palkia V alternate art, same story. This one started at $56.60 about a month ago. This one dropped pretty hard, so we're looking at close to a 20% drop right now. $47.17 was its low point, which it hit last week. It's back up to $48.26, kind of hovering around now over the last few weeks, right around that $47, $48 mark. If we look at the Sneasler, this was another interesting one that kind of skyrocketed right after release, and that's why we want to pay attention to what's coming out in Lost Origin, what those pull rates look like, especially for those alternate arts, because we could see these start out lower as pre-order pricing and then kind of skyrocket like what we saw for 3 or 4 of these different alternate arts from Astral Radiance. $53.55 was its high point, which it hit about a month ago. It's dropped $8 or close to about 17-18% over the last month, sitting at $45.37 right now, which is a 1 month low, heading in the downward direction. If we look at the Irida, this is one of the other examples of a card that is actually gaining steam and going in the upward trajectory. This was at $36.88 about a week ago. It dropped down to $36.19, but if we pay attention to where it was a month ago right after release, it dropped all the way down to $28.95. So you're looking at about a 30% increase over the past month for Irida, and that's not just the full art that seems to be gaining steam. That regular art also has been doing really well. It's dropped down a little bit, but just a holo rare that was selling for about $1 or $2 right after release went all the way up to about $8. Now it's kind of hovering around that $4 or $5 mark. If we look at the gold Palkia V-Star, also another card that's dropped about 25% over the last month as more product gets opened up and interest dies down a little bit. $44.35 is where this was a month ago after release. It dropped all the way down to $34.75 last week. It's taken 10 cents of that back. It's sitting at $34.85 right now. Definitely heading in the downward direction. And again, as more packs continue to get open, so we have about a month now before Lost Origin releases. So a lot of people are still paying attention to Astral Radiance, maybe not as focused on the Pokemon Go set. So more Astral Radiance is going to get open, more Evolving Skies is going to get open, more Brilliant Stars is going to get open. So you can expect single prices to continue to head downward over the next month. If we look at the Beedrill V, another example of a card that skyrocketed right after release, it's $33.63 is its 1 month high, which it hit right after release. It dropped down to $28.70 back in the beginning of July, went up a little bit, and now back down. It's sitting at $28.86. So you're looking at about a 20% drop for Beedrill V. Really pretty card, very gorgeous. I love the artwork on the Beedrill V. And this is the time, if you have the funds, and I know money is tight for a lot of people right now with the way the economy is and things are right now, but some of these alternate arts are getting really cheap. So when we look at Thursday's video, when we go over some of these alternate arts that are kind of a steal right now, definitely time to pay attention to some of these and add them to your collection if you're looking at chasing master sets or chasing alternate arts or things like that. If we look at the Starmie V from Trainer Gallery, this is another card that skyrocketed like crazy right after Astral Radiance released. It went all the way up to $38.26 on the 24th of June. It dropped all the way down to $30.94. So almost a 30% drop. It gained some of that back. It's sitting at $32.69 right now, but a very popular card, probably the most popular out of the Astral Radiance set, and that's why it's the most expensive one. Garchomp V, another really popular card from the Trainer Gallery set of Astral Radiance, was sitting at $35.05 at the end of June. It did drop all the way down to $29.05. It sat there for a couple weeks before coming back up ever so slightly, only gained about $1 back, sitting at $30.25 right now. If you look at the alternate art Charizard V, this is another card that's really heading in the downward direction. 176.96 is where it was about a month ago. It dropped all the way down to 161.69, and that's kind of where it's sitting right now, 161.67. So right around its 1 month low, which is absolutely crazy. If we look at the Rainbow Rare Charizard V-Star, this is another card that we talked about a lot over the last couple weeks as it dipped down below $100 in a lot of cases. 1 month ago was at 107.95, so this was about 3 months after Brilliant Stars came out. At one point in time, this was the most expensive card in Brilliant Stars. This was pre-ordering for about $400, and that goes to show you how important patience is when it comes to Pokemon card collecting, especially if you're looking at saving money. 107.95 was its high point about a month ago. It did drop down to 101.65, so not too much of a dip. It's kind of hanging around strong right now, right at the beginning of July, and now it's climbed up ever so slightly, sitting at 104.51, right between its 1 month high and 1 month low. And then finally, we're going to look at Arceus V, the alternate art from Brilliant Stars. This was up to 43.53 at the end of June 24th. It dropped down to $40.93, so only about an 8% drop so far, but that's where it's sitting right now, 41.02, right around its 1 month low. If we look at the full art Charizard, this one's actually trending in the upward direction a little bit. It did hit a 1 month low at the end of June of 34.16, climbed up a little bit to 37.14, and then it dropped a little bit, so it's kind of sitting in between its 1 month high and 1 month low, 35.63. The Arceus V-Star Gold card, 39.79 was its high point about a month ago, so at June 24th, it dropped all the way down to 33.96, which is where it's sitting right now, one month low. Arceus V-Star, a very competitive card. Obviously, this is a high collector card because it is a gold V-Star, but a gold V-Star for $33.96. It's lost about 20% over the last month. If we look at the Gengar VMAX, this is the alternate art from Fusion Strike. We did just talk about pull rates from Fusion Strike, opening up a booster box and what the expected value is out of that. If you want to catch that video, we posted that last week. Its high point of 106.21 is actually where it sat last week, so it's right near its 1 month high, closer to that than it is to its 1 month low. It dropped down to $100.15, so only about a 5% drop over the past month, but it actually has gained that all back, so it's sitting at 105.70 right now. This is one of the few cards that's trending in the upward direction. If we look at the Espeon V-Star from Fusion Strike, this one is actually heading downward, so it actually started trending upwards a little bit. It hit 108.25, and now it's sitting at a 1 month low. It lost about $5 of that, so again, not a very substantial drop, about 5%, sitting at 103.40 right now. If we look at the Secret Rare Mew VMAX, 73.34 was its high point, which it hit on June 25th. It's done nothing but go down since then, so it's lost about, 15% or so, sitting at 63.65 a couple weeks ago, and now it's climbed back up to 64.52. So not too much of a gain, much closer to its 1 month low than 1 month high, heading in the downward direction. Same thing with the Umbreon VMAX, which is the most gorgeous card. I love this card completely from Brilliant Stars. 28.90, it was its high point about a month ago, and you can see it trying to hang on here for a few weeks before it just was like, okay, we can't do it, and it dropped about 20% down to that 24.37 mark. It's sitting at 24.79 right now, which is much closer to its 1 month low than its 1 month high. We have two more that we're going to look at here. The Sylveon VMAX from Trainer Gallery. I wanted to pay attention to some of these Trainer Gallery cards. That way you get a better understanding of what to expect in Lost Origin. The Lost Origin Trainer Gallery cards look absolutely fantastic. It's going to make Lost Origin probably the second best set of the entire Sword and Shield block. I can't wait for it. There's so many good cards. I'm not going to spoil anything right now. Go back and watch the video that we just posted on Sunday if you want to learn more about Lost Origin, but some amazing cards are coming out, and this really goes over price expectancy expectancy, pull rates, things like that. The Sylveon VMAX, which was a chase card for a lot of people in Brilliant Stars, was up to $19.62 a week ago. It's sitting at $19.45 right now, but definitely closer to its 1 month high than its 1 month low, which was $17.20. So about a 10% difference there. It hit its 1 month low a couple weeks ago. And then we've got the Sylveon V, which is also heading in the downward direction. It was at $18.38 at the end of June, and then dropped down to $16.03 at the middle of July. And that's kind of where it's sitting right now. But it's really important to kind of pay attention to these values, to these numbers, and be expectant and understanding that as more cards get open, prices are going to go down, and that's okay. We talked about this early on in the video. Wizards of the Coast sets printed to oblivion, and still now 25 years later, you're looking at a lot of cheap holographic rares, which were the chase cards back then because you didn't have these ultra rares. So when it comes to expectancy, enjoy what you love, do what you love, enjoy collecting the cards, enjoy the artwork. That's what's most important. Pay attention to the values because it's fun to, and then you want to make sure that you're getting the most out of your collection. If it ends up being worth money one day, awesome. If not, at least you enjoyed the artwork, at least you enjoyed the game, at least you got to share in a passion with so many wonderful people. The escape, what's so wonderful about Pokemon, the things that we love. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Pay attention to it. If you enjoyed it, please hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a like and a comment. Like I said, it goes a really long way for the algorithm. Share the video if you wouldn't mind. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for everything. Until tomorrow, I'll see you then. Peace.